Okay, so this is your new classroom, and let me go to the main page. My computer just does not want to work today. Okay. Oh, I wonder, do I need to log out and log back in? So wonderful. So let's see. All right, do you see my dashboard now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So am I in edit mode? It's not taking me back to the home page. Okay, let's go back in. Okay. Weirdly, I'm not able to see my page. So am I feeling it? Okay. I see that it's trying to populate, but it's not. Let me see if I have it open somewhere else. Tell you what, we'll just open another one. Okay. So when you open your class, you'll notice something a little bit different, and I just want to take a moment to explain this. So, as here you have on your bulletin, you have your due dates for your daily assignments, which your course due daily at 11:55. But you also have your labs 1 through 4 that are due Sunday, June the 7th, and your chapter
Okay.
14 quiz that is due on Sunday, the June 7th. Now, it does say that here. However, if you scroll and when you open your labs do say due June the 5th. Well, I had to alter our due dates just because we don't have class on Sundays. So, with that being
Okay.
said, the technical due date is June the 5th. However, I will not count off and I will not close the labs until after Sunday at 11:55. So, the due date is technically Friday, but
Yes,
you
ma'am.
do have a grace period of 2 days. So that's why it conflicts on what says on the labs versus what's on my bulletin. But you do have until Sunday.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify that. So was that clarified? I'm gonna go ahead and share my other screen here. I'm gonna have to start sharing this one and share my other one. So I'm gonna get into today's lesson. And this will be brand new to you because you haven't got into class yet.
Yes, ma'am.
No worries, you'll figure out what I'm talking about when you get in this.
Oh yes, ma'am. I'm not. I was just like that after yesterday. I started to get a little nervous because I was like, "Wow, I sure haven't really just been doing that in a minute." I was just like, "Wait, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something."
No, it's something I'm supposed to be doing. It's no worries. It's no worries at all. So, icebreaker, which I thought we were going to have a fuller class, and people might pop in here, and they don't. If they don't, we'll have a party of two. But icebreaker is, what is your favorite movie and why?
Huh?
So I will go first. My favorite movie is Pretty Woman, and
Okay.
it is. And my second one, because it's a tie, is Sweet Home Alabama. Very cliche that I'm from Alabama, and that's one of my favorite movies. But those are my two favorite movies. And why is because those two movies, I lost my mom when I was 23 years old. So
Oh,
16 years ago. And those were two movies that me and her used to watch together. So those are my two favorite movies. If it comes on, I'm going to watch it like I've never seen it before. I'm a rom com type of girl, so that is my favorite movie. But so, what is your favorite movie and why?
I would say my favorite movie, while it does switch from time to time, I would say most of the time it would be Scream. like the 1996 old
Uh,
movie. Because
you sound like my daughters. Yeah.
I would say because it's like that. I can say that's the one movie that really got me to fall in love with like just horror movies in general, and it just like sort of made me realize something about myself, and that I love horror movies. They're not bad. They're not as scary as I thought they were. It's
Ooh, I
like
can't hang out with you because I hate scary movies. It's just not my cup of tea.
oh yes, I would say my mom's the same way. I got to force her. I'm like, hey, come on, can we watch a horror movie tonight? She no, no.
No, I walked by the TV. I think a new screen just came out. Saw my daughters were watching it on Peacock the other night, and I walked by the TV, and my husband goes, "What is that? Screen 42?" I was like, "Or 53," because they made so many of them. It's
they
like,
do, they do. You lose count after a while.
like after a while, because they all run together. So yeah, but they love scary movies. I don't particularly care for them because I like to go to sleep at night. So, but
yes,
I
that's
wasn't proud.
understandable.
So our lesson, our chapter 14 is about procedure coding, which let me back up for a little bit. So MOA 154 is introduction to billing.
Mhm.
So as an MOA, you will come into contact with billing, not so much as a medical biller or coder, but you will have contact with a little bit of billing. So we do want to touch on it just a little bit, not very detailed, just kind of surface level. Um, because of course if you have a patient come in, they do come in to get seen for medical attention, or they call to make appointments, but they also call because they want to know, why do I have a bill? And you don't want to be the one to say, oh, I don't know. You want to be able to tell them something. So
Yes, like
having a little bit of knowledge will help you. So that is what MOA 154 is about. So we will start off with procedure coding, and we're going to go over that. So our format is kind of similar to what we've been doing, but we're going to really focus our lectures on being prepared for our NCCT.
yes,
As
ma'am.
you know, the MOA program is a 6-month program. And so my goal is that when you reach month 6 in that last course, that you're like, okay, I want to go take my certification exam. I'm ready. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I don't feel prepared, or I'm scared, or, like we talked about, I think when you first started, test anxiety and those types of things. I really want us to try to take a hold of those things and get those out the way. So when we are done with the program, we're ready to take that certification, and you're ready to get your first paycheck and give me the 50% that you promised me that you're gonna give me. So, I want you to go ahead and be all that you can be when you get your
Yes.
certificate.
I love how you snuck that in there.
We'll make sure that would fit. So we are going to make it centered where we are focused on a lesson, but it's going to be more of an NCCT based lecture. I see Whitney joined us. So, hey, Whitney, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
We are
Mm,
good. We are just getting started.
hello.
And because you're late, you have to answer the icebreaker of what is your favorite movie and why?
Oh Lord. Oh, Love and Basketball. I always love that movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. It's a good movie. It doesn't seem like it's really long. I feel like that is a long movie.
I know. I never really paid attention to it. The
I
time
just
of
feel
it.
like or maybe it's because we start from when they're children all the way through their entire lives until they're married with a baby. That might be why
Yes.
I feel it's so long. It's a long movie too, but it's a good movie. It's a rom com, so I love a rom com. Um, So with chapter 14, and like I said in the video for yesterday, I know it feels really weird. It's like we're starting a new class. So Miss Leslie, why is we in chapter 14? Good question. So this book is a book that we do use multitude of times throughout your course. So at each different class, at some point you will be in a different chapter in that book doesn't mean that they will be in chronological order. So, particularly 154 does start in the higher chapters with chapter 14, diving into your billing and your coding chapters. So, this week, I want us to focus on when we're reading is coding compliance, ICD-10, CPT, HCPCS, our CPT terminology and their symbols, modifiers and add-on codes, surgical packages, the coding workflow, and communication with providers. So has anyone taken any type of billing or coding class before, or will this be your first time kind of getting familiar with some coding?
Oh, this would be my first. This is definitely be a
Okay.
first.
Okay, no
Um,
worries.
I
No worries.
I started in billing and coding, but I got out of it.
Okay. All right. So you have a little bit. Okay. So
Little
no
bit.
worries. I have it coming out my ears, so I know enough for all of us, so it's okay. We will get through this. Like I was telling Cortavius, I think before you join, you know, NMOA is not as intricate as it is for with our medical billing and coding program. It is just very surface level. As an MOA, you won't be in actually billing patients, but you might have a patient that comes in and asks, "Hey, why do I have a bill?" Or things of that sort of or did I need a prior authorization for this particular procedure? So just being a little bit knowledgeable about billing and coding will help you excel in your role. You're not going to be as heavy coding as the insurance and billing program that we have, just a little bit. Now, Cortavius and Whitney, if you're in this MOA 154 and you're like, oh my God, I just love billing, I love coding, I think you get done with your 6 months with me and give me the 50% of your first paycheck after your program. You are more than welcome to sign up for our online medical billing and coding class. So we do offer that as a separate certification as well. So if this is something you're interested in, those ladies, I started out as a billing and coding instructor. So that's my home team. So if you feel like this is something you want to learn a little bit more about, that team is great over there, but you can't go till you get through with me and give me my pay cut. So
Okay. We'll remember your cut.
don't forget my 50%, whatever you do. Okay. That
All
is
right.
most important. So why does coding matter? Well, coding matters for a lot of things. As explained before, if you go to the doctor and you have a headache and a fever, and they give you a COVID test and a flu test. Well, we don't reach out to Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or United Healthcare and say, Mr. John had a flu, had a strep, and he had a headache and a fever. We don't send that to the insurance company to get billed. Instead, headache has a code, which is R59.00. Like I said, it comes out my ears. But flu has a CPT code or procedure code, which we'll talk about, as well as the COVID test has a procedure code or CPT code. Uh, this is how the doctor gets reimbursed. And of course, unfortunately, some people don't realize that healthcare, although we are here to help the patients, it is also a business. So you have to get paid. So coding matters because it drives the reimbursement. It allows you to submit for payment for the services that were rendered. It also supports medical necessity. For example, if I come there and I say, hey, I've got a fever and a headache and I'm not feeling well, and you decide to give me a colonoscopy, well, my insurance needs to know, okay, how did we get here? Why are we checking the router when she had a headache and a fever? Like those two things do not match. So therefore, it wasn't medical necessary. So one, my insurance is probably not going to pay for it because I didn't need that. But also, too, I could dispute those charges with the doctor saying, I didn't need a colonoscopy. You were just billing me for payment. It's not medical necessary for that to have happened. So it does support medical necessity. It also reduces the nows, which falls under medical necessity because if I had a fever or a headache, I will probably give that patient a flu and COVID test, and it's probably going to be approved because it makes sense that if I have these symptoms, that I might want to look for flu or COVID, which in turn I will probably be reimbursed for those tests, resulting in reduced denials. It also ensures compliance, making sure that we are compliant, that we are doing what we're supposed to do as a practice, that we're not just upcharging patients just so we can make money, but we're essentially treating the patients for their symptoms and why they come there. So it does ensure compliance. Any questions
Yes.
about that?
No,
No?
ma'am.
No,
All
ma'am.
right, let's move right along. All right, so the coding compliance program is a list of policies and procedures. Now, the coding compliance program can be different depending upon the facility. Some facilities have an internal coding compliance program, and someone does go by the national coding compliance program guidelines. This compliance program is just a set of rules of saying this is how we code things. This is how we make sure we reach medical necessity. Just make sure that we're not, we're compliant. We're not going to pay any charges because we broke the law. We're not going to go to jail. So with the compliance comes, well, how do I know that Whitney is doing what she's supposed to be doing over there with coding, and she's just not coding up to make sure we're getting paid extra money? Well, that comes in with those internal audits. So usually you'll have a team lead or a supervisor or someone who might come and pull your work and say, well, let me just kind of see Whitney's work from December and just kind of look and see how did she do or how did she code things and was it compliant? Now, internal audits are not always for you to be getting in trouble or micromanagement. It could be an education and training opportunity. Sometimes if you don't know better, you can't do better, right? So if I don't know I'm doing something wrong, I'm probably going to continue to do it because I think I'm doing it right. So, not micromanagement by the internal audit, but providing that education like Whitney, girl, we cannot charge $1,500 for a flu test. I know it got on your nerves, and I feel like I know time is money, but we cannot do that. Okay, like, and here's why we can't do that. So it's providing that education and that training, and with that comes corrective action plans. So then it's Whitney, okay. So going forward, we can only charge them $50 for this. So every time you see this particular code that equates to this test, it's going to equate to $50. And then checking back in, making sure that she's still on the straight and narrow, and that everything is compliant. Now, if we have done the education and training and done the corrective action plans, and next month I go look at Whitney's billing forms and Whitney to charge $1,700. Okay, girl, you know what?
That's too much.
It is not an education problem. It's not a training. I don't know why you want to charge these people this, but we can't do it. Okay. Then there'll be another conversation with Whitney at that point. Because at that point, it is no longer education and training that is the problem. It is another problem we got going on. So why do you think compliance is important?
I would say compliance is important just because you want to make sure that you're actually doing the necessary steps that, that's being done.
Yeah, yeah. You want to make
Yes.
sure that you're compliant. You don't want to break any rules. You don't want to cost the company money or be fined or any jail time because a lot of upcoding and these charges can lead to jail time or fines. So that's the biggest thing for me because I don't look good in orange or stripes. Okay, so that is the main
Yes.
reason I don't want to be compliant. I don't want to pay nobody no money, and I don't want to go to jail. So that's my number one reason for being compliant. But also, you want to make sure that you are doing the right thing and that everything you're doing is medically necessary. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
All right,
No, ma'am.
move right on. All right. So standard code sets, and Whitney, you probably know this as you had a little bit of time in the coding program, but there are three standard code sets. You have ICD-10 codes, CPT codes, and HCPCS codes too.
Hmm.
Now, ICD-10 codes are your diagnosis codes. This is what happened, what's going on. I like to tell students that I am a very nosy person. I am not ashamed about it. Not at all. I think that's why I've been so successful in my career because you have to be nosy. But I'm nosy. So for me, diagnosis has gnosis in it, nosy. What happened? Because every time my friend called me and she's like, "Ooh, girl, what happened?" So that's your diagnosis, is what happened. And your CPT codes or procedures codes is what did they do? So your CPT code is what did the doctor do to fix what happened? So for example, again, if someone comes in and they have a fracture, they broke their arm. Broken arm would be the ICD-10 code because that's what happened, right?
Yes.
But what did the doctor do? So an X-ray would be a CPT code. So the CPT code tells me what the doctor did for the broken arm. So, like I said, diagnosis is what happened, what's wrong. And the CPT, it's the procedure, the test, or the services that was done for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Just think of diagnosis, because I know y'all nosy too, y'all. I'm not out here by myself. So diagnosis,
Maybe a little.
you're nosy. You want to know what happened. Now, let me tell you, TikTok and Facebook is not still around because y'all ain't nosy, all right? So y'all is right there with me.
I like to stay informed.
Okay, don't leave me out, okay? So ICD-10 is diagnosis, what happened, and CPT is what did we do to fix it. Now, Hicks codes, you don't see it that often. Hicks codes
Yes.
are your supplies, your drugs, and your equipment. Some people see that word and it's like HCPCS. It is pronounced Hicks. So those are supplies, drugs, or equipment. All right. So what does ICD-10 CM represent?
I would say B.
B. Whitney, you would be?
I can't see. Oh, I gotta scoot it over.
Oh,
B.
scoot
Yes,
it
I
over,
agree.
girl. Scoot it over.
I agree. I agree with B. I didn't see the question.
B, yeah, because y'all are nosy just like me. Yes, the answer is B, diagnosis. That is correct. All right, so the coding workflow. So there are five important steps of the coding workflow. So the first thing you want to do is review the documentation. So I know this might sound boring, so you're like, what is the documentation? So let me start from the beginning. So the patient comes in, we check that patient in,
Mhm.
right? We're going to get them on, or either they call in an appointment and we got them checked in, or either they came into the emergency room and we got them checked in. Either way, the patient has arrived. Now the patient is done with us at the front, but now they have gone back to the back with the doctor or the nurse practitioner. They check them out, they do blood work, they order x-rays or CT scans or anything else, and they discharge the patient. So patient goes home. After the patient leaves, there is a progress note or a note, which is basically a summary of what happened. My favorite part, you know. So, in the coding, you're going to take that documentation, which is the progress note, and we're going to review that documentation. So, we're going to go through and we're going to read everything and we're going to identify the diagnosis. We're going to identify what all happened. He had a headache, he fell, he was struck upside the head. This is real good. So, we got all of that, right? So that's what
Yes.
happened. So we then see that the doctor gave stitches. Well, first he had an x-ray to make sure there was no fractures. There was a cut, so they did do stitches. The x-ray and the stitches will be the services because that's what the doctor did to fix the problems, right?
Yes.
So now that I know everything that happened and what he did, at that point, I will assign my codes. I will use my CPT book to select my codes for the services. I would then use my ICD 10 book to identify the correct diagnosis codes. And of course, once I select my codes, I would verify that everything is accurate and correct. And at that point, I will submit my UBO4 or my CMS 1500, which is the form that you submit for payment for the insurance company to verify and reimburse us. Very simple. I think probably next week we might go over a little bit of documentation and be nosy together just so
Oh.
that we all feel a little bit comfortable. See, that's what I'm talking about.
See, I started loving a little bit more as well.
No, we're doing next week in class, so we will go through there. But that is the basic coding workflow. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, we good. All right. CPT, which is the services of what the doctor did, not as juicy and hot as those ICD-10 codes, but nevertheless, this is how we get paid. So the CPT stands for current procedural terminology. Now you will hear CPT code and procedure code. They are the same. They are just used interchangeably. So if you hear CPT code or procedure code, it's the same thing. You might read an instruction or on your NCCT test, it might say procedure code. They are generally talking about the CPT code. All right. And you also have a modifier. So a modifier is something that you try to paint the picture a little bit better because sometimes things happen. One common modifier is that everyone is familiar with a colonoscopy, right?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So if you've ever had one, I just had my first one. God help it. When you prep for one, you have to drink this god awful liquid and your toilet becomes your best friend. So you drink this liquid and you're on a liquid diet for 2 days. And I promise you this story is going somewhere. So you drink this liquid for 2 days and you have to be completely clean before they do the procedure. Sometimes your patients may not have adhered to the instructions of finishing the drink or being completely on a liquid diet. Somebody probably, had them a little Burger King the night before, and they go in to do the procedure. And if anyone not knows what a colonoscopy is, it is a procedure in which the doctor does use a specialized camera to go into the anal cavity to review to see if there's anything going on, any cancers or any concerns. So if you had that big bacon cheeseburger last night at midnight and they go in with their camera, well,
They're
we can
gonna.
we can only go so far. So we can't go all the way that we need to go. So At that point, there's not a code that says, right? So there is a code for a colonoscopy, but there is a modifier that says incomplete colonoscopy. So that modifier helps tell the insurance company, we started a colonoscopy, we got this far. We did not complete the colonoscopy, although we started it. So we do still, the company still needs to be paid because we did the prepping, we, had the surgery room, we did the
Mm.
anesthesia, although we could not complete it.
Huh. So it's
Now,
like you guys did everything on your end. So it's like, yeah.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that we could not do what we needed to do.
Mm.
Now this helps in two ways. It also helps the doctor get paid because they did everything they did and the procedure still happened. It was just not completed. So it
Yes.
does help the physician get reimbursed something for their time and their services. It also helps the patient that if the patient needs to have this done over again, then it doesn't look like little Miss Whitney over there that be charging them $1,700 for the flu test. That she is not just telling this patient to come in every month for a colonoscopy so we can build the insurance, right? Because if we just had a
Right.
colonoscopy in June, why is he coming back in July to have another one?
Mm.
But we put the modifier in saying, yeah, he came in for a modifier in June, but we could not complete it because something happened. So therefore, medical necessity, we can do another one in July because we were not able to complete the procedure. So those are things that the modifier helps tell the complete story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just a
Yes.
little bit. Okay. Another modifier that you will see is pretty common as adding to surgeries is that sometimes surgeries are pre-planned. A lot of things I've heard doctors say is that you plan a surgery, but you never know what you're going to do until you get in there. So, with that being said, you can plan it to be a very easy surgery that might take an hour. Well, sometimes when they get in there, it might be a little bit more difficult. So the surgery that was scheduled for an hour might end up taking that doctor 6 hours to do. So do
Huh.
you think it's fair that he only gets paid for a surgery that's supposed to have taken 1 hour, but end up taking him 6 hours to do?
No.
No, because I'm going to flip the table over. If you try to pay me for 1 hour of work and I put 6 hours of work. So there's a modifier that you can add to that surgery that says more time needed, exceeded time expected, or a more complicated surgery. So those
Yes.
are things that the modifier does. All right.
So I would say the modifier is like it adds like a level of like specification to what happened.
Yeah, it helps
Yeah.
give a clearer picture to the CPT code or the services. Now, the
Okay.
add-on code is very similar, except it's just in the name. So, example, going back to the colonoscopy, that sometimes during a colonoscopy, there are things that are found called polyps that have to be removed. One of the basic CPT code, polyp removal of two polyps is included in that code. It's bundled in there. So if you go and do a colonoscopy and you have removed two polyps, it's all paid in that same package.
Mm.
However, if you go in there and there's 8 polyps, then you need to put an add-on code for each additional polyp that was removed. And this is for other surgeries that you go in, you're expecting to do this, but again, you don't know until you get in there. There's a little
Yes.
bit more that exceeds what was expected. So that's when the add-on code comes into play. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. So in your CPT book, you also have symbols. The circle is a new code. So CPT book comes out with new codes yearly. A
Mm.
new code. Now, I'm not saying that new services, well, they do happen. I'm not saying that every year we make up a whole new thing of services, but with medicine growing the way it is. One good example I like to tell people is, back in the day, every time you had surgery, they had to cut you open, right?
Mm.
Now you have laparoscopic surgery where they can use the tracker. You get three incisions and the robot goes in and does everything and pretty much does the surgery. So you don't have that ugly cut from surgery. So that was like an example that they needed to make a CPT code for uh different procedure versus open. Now, mind you, open surgeries are still in the CPT book, but laparoscopic surgeries are now in the CPT book as well. So there
Oh.
are new things and new improved things. I'm pretty sure a BBL was not always a procedure, but
It was
very
added.
common now. So I'm pretty sure it had to have a code for it. So that's probably one of those new codes that came in the past 5, 6 years. So new codes, new procedures, new things are happening. I even saw that, they're giving hair transplants now. Yeah. So it's just new things
So it's
happening
a
all
code
the
for that as
time.
well.
It's a code for everything. Okay. So with that, also you have a revised code. So sometimes they go in, and if you have a code that has had enough modifiers or enough add-on codes to it, sometimes, AMA, who is the association who does the CPT code books, will be like, hey, maybe we need to go back and revise this code. Maybe we need to edit and add something or take it away. So when that happens, there is a triangle in front of the code, meaning it has been revised. It's very important that when you are coding, that when you see a revised code, make sure you read it in its entirety. Because after doing it for some years, you're like, oh, I know that code. I know what that means. Well, it could change. So just because it was this in 2025 does not mean it means the same thing in 2026.
Yes.
All right, and that's new and revised text. So that's with the definition. If you see the two sideways triangles, that means they did something new with the definition or either they revised the definition. So
Oh.
it's very important that you know these symbol meanings for the NCCT exam. They are in your textbook and you can find them on any YouTube videos. Uh, you can use flashcards, but they are out there. But I do want you to be familiar with them for your NCCT exam. All right, code edits and reimbursement. So as I said before, there are some things that are in CPT codes that are included. So they're bundled. So think of it as all as a bundle package, home, internet, phone, TV bundled. It's bundled, right? So it comes
Yes.
together. It's all one price. That's what it is. Well, unbundling is the opposite of that. That means you're taking it apart.
Huh.
And your NCCI edits is those coding compliance incentives that I told you about earlier, that you can create your own coding compliance program, or you can do the national, which is your NCCI. And of course, we talked about medical necessity, that we can't just go order what we feel like we want to order because we need a little bit more money to pay the light bill. So, those are four terms that you do need to be familiar with. So, a provider builds separate codes that should be combined. This is called, and I want you just to use what I just said out of these four. Which one do you think is the correct answer?
Wait, what was the question was a
A
provider
provider builds
will
separate
separate code.
codes that should be combined. This is called
Oh, that's bundling.
Unbundling?
unbundling. Yes, you mean
Oh,
taking apart. So what he did was, for the nice price of $199, you can get a mommy makeover. And
mm,
that's what they say. This code 5555 is a mommy makeover. Well, Moesha said, I just would do a BBL, a breast augmentation, a tummy. I'm gonna do all this separate, and I'm gonna charge 5,000 for this, 6,000 for this, 7,000 for this, 8,000 for this. We cannot do that. It said that this is 199. So I can't take it apart because this code includes all of this. So I don't need to be doing it separate because there's a code that combines all of this together.
Oh,
So the reason you can't do that, why do you think you can't do that?
I would say the reason why you can't really do it is because I feel like it's gonna
You're
test my time. Oh yeah,
overcharging,
okay.
right?
Yes.
Be- So you can't do that for financial gain because in medical field, you always have to do what's best for the patient. Although this is a business, we have to make sure we are compliant and we're not doing anything deceitful. And separating something that is already combined and should be combined is unbundling and is illegal. So don't take nothing apart. Do everything for what it's worth.
Okay, I can see. Okay.
All right. So your CPT code book, and I normally have one that sits beside me, and today I don't. But you do have different chapters. You have the evaluation and management chapter. This chapter is for mostly office visits and your hospital visits. So these are your evaluations from your physician. So this is usually what the doctor bills for coming to the doctor or for him seeing you in the hospital. The largest section in the CPT book is your surgery section. So those are all the different surgeries, um, laparoscopic and open surgeries in that particular chapter.
Huh.
You didn't have your radiology chapter, which is, of course, your CTs, your x rays, and everything radiology is in that chapter. You also have your pathology and lab, and these are your blood tests, those blood pregnancy tests,
Mhm.
um, alcohol tests, liver function tests, all those types of tests. Those particular CPT codes are found in the pathology and lab. And
Mm.
then you have your medicine um, chapter, which of course self-explanatory is your medicine codes. All right, so your surgical package is your pre-op, your intra-op, and your post-op, and the global period. So a surgical package is something that is bundled and it includes all of these things. So when you have surgery and you have to go get your pre-op labs done and you have to go and you're in the hospital for a couple of days and then you have to go to maybe physical therapy or something after your surgery,
Yes.
all of this is in your surgical package. So you can't be billed for your pre-op stuff and then be billed for when you're in the actual hospital for the surgery and bill for when you go to physical therapy or any aftercare. It's all in one package. So it's all billed into one bundle.
Oh.
During this time, you also have, you had a question?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was yawning. My bad.
Okay, no, thought you had a question. So,
Oh, no.
with that, you also have your global period. So the global period is the amount of time that you have that if something happens related to this surgery that you had, it will still be covered in the surgical package. Okay. So if you go to physical therapy and you you had a let's say you had a knee replacement. Well, after that knee replacement, you get a recall that the knee they replaced had a recall and they need to go back in there. We can't go back and rebuild all this stuff. That second surgery is within the global period and will be covered with this same surgery. Okay. So you will also look at that in your chapter 14. Your three most common modifiers is 25, which means there's a significant separate E&M service. The best example I say for this is that you go into the doctor's office. That's your doctor's visit, right? We go to the doctor, he's being seen, and he needs to do an x-ray. That's totally different from me coming to the doctor. That's another service. So he might add that 25 modifiers saying, yeah, they came to the doctor, but I also did an x-ray as well. So I need to be reimbursed for the x-ray as well.
Huh.
That's what that modifier 25 for. Another modifier is a bilateral procedure. So we have two arms, two legs, and uh, majority of us has two arms and two legs. You got to be politically correct. So a bilateral procedure, it means that it happened on both sides of the body. You have to be politically correct. So it happens on both sides of the body. So any event that, I'm in a bad car wreck or something, for example, and I broke both of my hands in the exact same spot and they need to do surgery on both. Well, instead of just doing it for each hand, left and right, they can put that modifier 50 onto that surgery, indicating they did it to both hands.
Huh.
And a modifier 59 is a distinct procedural service. So if the patient came in and this one is really hard because it's so hard to find an example for that. But if I came into the doctor's office and I came in for my blood pressure medications and get my blood pressure checked and everything like that. And then my doctor goes, "Oh, by the way, we give a little lipo and a little Ozempic," and I'm like, "Oh, I would like a little bit of that too." So that has nothing to do with my blood pressure or any of my, normal medications or my normal office visit. That injection that I received is a separate procedure from what I came to the doctor for. So when they're doing my summary and they're documenting everything that they did, they would put that modifier 59 on that injection that I received because it was a distinctly different surgery from my original office visit. So it's something completely different than what you came there for.
Okay, I can see that.
All right. So looking at the modifiers that we talked about, what situation do you think warrants a modifier?
Hmm. I would say, oh, I'm trying to think of a good situation.
Okay.
Ooh, I would say so. If you were to go to the doctor's office and
Mm-hmm.
you know, well, actually, no, scratch that. If you were to go and get surgery done, and I would say if there was like some sort of blockage, that they would add that in,
Okay. Yeah. If something happened and they couldn't do it
like an
or it cost a
unexpected
little bit more
blockage.
work, yeah, that cost a little bit more work. Yeah, they could use the modifier to explain that, hey, it was a little bit more complicated than anticipated. So you're exactly
Yes.
right. Good job. All right, Whitney.
Mine is more of a question. Um,
Okay.
so I used to I used to be an OB tech. I used to be an OB tech,
Mm-hmm.
and um it was a few times that like they would come in, for a vaginal, and they would have to have like
Mm-hmm.
emergency C-section. So would that be something that a modifier would be used for?
Definitely. Yes, because the planned procedure was vaginal delivery, right?
Right.
So was that something happened, a complication, a unexpected complication arise, then when we're billing, we were originally scheduled for vaginal delivery. We did not get a prior authorization, which is some the reason these modifiers do come into play is because they happen in emergent circumstances. And some things needs a prior authorization. Well, there was
Right.
no time for that, right? We had to deliver the baby or we had to clear that blockage. We couldn't say, hold on. Let me call Blue Cross Blue Shield and see if they'll give me permission to do this. You had to do it at that moment. So when you
Yes.
put that modifier in there, you're saying, hey, I had no other choice or this happened and it had to be done. So yes, in that situation, a modifier would be added, indicating that although this was unplanned circumstances, that this we had to do an emergency C-section. So yeah, you are right.
Okay.
All right. Add-on codes cannot be by themselves. And they report additional work, as I stated, and they always must accompany a primary code. I think in your text they will show you clips of the CPT book, and they will show you what a primary code looks like. They are usually in italics, and you can tell that they are codes that you can't put by themselves. It has to be two codes with an add-on code.
Okay.
Usually it's called the parent code. You also have appendices in your CPT book. These are at the back of the book. And your appendix has all the modifiers. So when you first open your CPT book, there is some in the front cover, but that is not all of them. They're just a brief list of the ones that are commonly used. But in Appendix A is all of the modifiers. And I promise you, there's a modifier for everything. So that is in Appendix A. So just remember, Appendix A has your modifiers.
Yes.
Appendix B has additions and deletions, as we talked about. Sometimes you have new codes, but also there are some codes that go away because no one no longer does that procedure. It's not utilized, or they made a better code and got rid of that one. So in Appendix B, it will show you all the new codes that were added and also all the codes that might have been deleted from the prior year. Appendix E is those add-on codes that cannot stand alone. So if you see a code, you're like, I'm not sure if that's an add-on code or not. You can always check that code in Appendix E. If it is in Appendix E, that means it's an add-on code and it cannot be coded alone. It does need a parent code with it in order to be placed for reimbursement. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, as we said before, CPT codes is the physician services and procedures. What's the diagnosis?
Ooh, I would
Yes.
say. Oh, empty.
Diagnosis. Huh?
It's what is it? It's M.
Yeah.
I know it has an M in it.
Wait, the name of it?
Mm.
The
Yeah, what's the
ICD
diagnosis
10?
code? ICD-10. And what does that
Uh,
mean? What does it tell us?
The problem, the patient problem,
The patient
diagnosis.
problem. What happened? The diagnosis. And then you have your Hicks picks, which is your supplies, equipment, and any medications. Now, I hear a lot of people talk of AI. I like AI, and I'm a big fan of AI. So it makes my life easier. I love a little AI. I have heard talk about AI since it came that it would that we should be worried, especially with coding. Of, oh, they're just going to get AI to do your job and woody waddy woo. I am here to tell you that, to be completely honest with you, healthcare is the least affected role that will be affected by AI, just because
yes.
things are such on a need to know basis that it's very hard to just pinpoint for something to be the same all the time. For
Yes.
example, some of the things that we talked about today, like things happen, unexpected things during surgery, add on codes, and those types of things are not something that can be predicted or one size fit all. So there's never a patient that is the same as another patient. So
Yes.
I don't feel like AI will be replacing any jobs. That's my humble opinion. However, there is technology in coding that helps make your life a lot easier. So encoders are actually digital coding programs. So instead of flipping, and Whitney said that she took the ICD, our billing and coding course, you flip through a book to look through the codes. That is the OG way. That's how I learned. But there's also encoders. So if I need to know a code these days, I will go into my reimbursement program. I will click ICD 10 and I will click headache, and guess what happens? It puts the ICD 10 code of headache right there for me. I don't have to look for it. So also, I can go and I can click on a tab that says CPT, and I can put flu test, and it will pull me the CPT code for flu test. So that's what an encoder does. It does assist me with coding, which brings me to computer assisted coding. Now, within these encoders are built in CACs. Now, what happens is if I go and I pick or I type in a standalone code, well, when I go hit submit for a reimbursement, this CAC is not going to let that go any further. It's going to flag me. It's going to stop it because it picks up this code can't be by itself. So it forces me to find a parent code or I can't use that code. So that's the computer assisted coding. Now, that's as far as the technology part goes for both of these systems. But as far as going in and seeing what type of headache, or was it a migraine headache? Was it a headache due to blood pressure? AI does not know that. I know that, right?
Yes.
So I have to type that information in. So that is why I don't think AI will be replacing anyone's jobs in healthcare, but it will help make our jobs easier.
Yes.
It makes it efficient, and it also helps making sure that it's accurate. Because I can tell you after 16 years, sometimes I can put in a code and it flags. So I was like, you know what, you right. You are right. Okay. I am so wrong. I'm so out of pocket for that one right there. Because, sometimes things start running together. I was really out of pocket for putting that there, but it helps me not make a mistake and also make sure that my providers get paid. So I don't think technology will be taking anyone's job in coding or healthcare. Yeah, that's my humble opinion, but I do like to touch on that because it's always a topic of conversation. But with that being said, that concludes our lecture for today. Some top exam tips I want you to take away is always read that documentation first. Like I said, in the coming weeks, we will have, doctor notes and progress notes here that we can look at and decipher and pick these things out. Always verify that your modifier is correct. Know your code set, know what CPT is, ICD-10, and HCPCS, and always avoid unbundling, okay? Does anyone have any questions about anything we went over today?
I would say not a question I have, but I would say
I
like
don't
a
have
more,
any.
but I would
Okay,
say more of like an observation that I noticed
okay.
would be that like with the AI thing with the job, I feel like it would more so help like, benefit us and more so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like be more of a help than like take over.
Yeah, I think it will be a great
Yes.
a great tool to have in your toolbox. I mean,
Yes.
I don't think we have drills and all of these things, but we still use screwdrivers, right? It didn't it didn't take over
Yeah.
it. It makes it easier, right? So I
Yes.
think that it will just help will make our jobs a little bit easier. But as far as taking over, I don't think so.
Yes. And I think because like it like doesn't really have the human aspect, I would say, like that we do.
Mhm.
Since we're
It
humans and like
doesn't.
we understand things more, yeah, like a more personal and like a more like specific side to things, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen these people AI pictures on Facebook that had three hands. Now, if you want to trust it for a multi-billion hospital, that's on you. But I mean, it can't even give people two hands or the right amount of fingers. So I don't think, yeah, I wouldn't trust it. But it helps you look pretty, but then your hand looks like you have like 15 fingers. So I wouldn't trust it personally for my money. But hey, it's one of the reasons I don't think it's going anywhere because I have not seen anyone who only had two hands on an AI generated picture of themselves. But my humble opinion, okay? All right, Whitney, you got anything for me?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right. Well, I enjoy lecture with you guys tonight. If you have any questions with chapter 14, just let me know. Whitney, were you able to get into your new class?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I look forward to seeing you all on next week.
All
Okay.
right, thank you so much, Miss
Bye.
Leslie. All right, see you guys
You're
later.
welcome. Bye. Good night.
Good night.